let's think about the composition part, and let's try to little bit reorganize this code to use or to substitute a third design principle. Basically, as you have seen that the users.js is making a call to the API to pull the data out of the API to bind with the presentational view. Assuming, considering this fact, for time being, we assume this part is commented out and is placed somewhere else. Let's comment it out, and we'll see how the third principle is going to apply it. And what I'll do is I'll make this users things to be driven by props instead of variables and the API call. So what I'll do is I'll say I'm going to receive a prop called user, and my user component will print some information based on the props received, and it could be user.name, or it could be is. So in this example, what we are trying to do is we are cleaning up using the second principle, or you can say we are cleaning up our user.js to have very flexible, very extensible in the long run. What we are saying, our component is going to be a dumb component, which means it will receive some prop, it will do some UI logic, and it will respond back to its parent. So what is it is receiving as a part of prop? It expect a user object which will contain name and age, and it will print the data. And inside our super user.js, what I am going to do is I am going to pass a user object with some name, for example, Andy, and age is like 37, for example. And similar approach I'll apply for this admin user, name Alex, and age is 27. So still this is by second design principle, it is open and you can extend as per your need in future. But if you talk about the third principle, which is ISCO substitution principle, what does it say is a subcomponent should abide by its parent rule and contract. If you look at here, it is abide by its parent rule. Its parent is probably, I would say, the component rule, basically. Not a parent is a right word, but it should be abide by the component we are going to use. It should have the contract, and it should be going to use it. For now, the derived state, because the admin user is going to derive from the user, then it should completely replace its behavior. It should get all the data. It should follow all the contracts which has been defined into the user component. So now what it is doing as a part of admin user is passing the prop as a name and age, and trying to implement all the contracts defined by user.js. But there's a glitch. We don't have any check here whether the name is getting passed is a valid element or not. Is it valid string or is it valid number or not? For example, let's take an example. As of now, it's getting printed as a Andy 37 admin Alex 27. What will happen if I change a bit now? If I say first name is Andy and last name is going to be Andy. Now what will happen? This is going to throw the error. Objects are not a valid read child. What does it mean is it was expecting about a string, but we passed the name as an object. So the derived component should abide by parent component's contract. What we can do here is we can either have a check here inside this user.js to make sure the props we are receiving is a valid string or valid number using TypeScript flow.js, or we have to make it as a string one if you don't have any checks. Okay, this is the one way to do it. The second way, if suppose the second rule that we applied, open and close one, instead of doing this one, what I can say is I'm going to print whether the props receiving is a valid type of a string or not. So you can check user.name is type of a string, then you return it, otherwise you wrap it in some or just you stringify it so it can be printed without a failure. Similar treatment you can apply for age as well. If it's a number, then we are going to print itself, otherwise we are going to wrap it in a string. So now this way we are able to fix it. So now the problem here is because we are converting, at least it is kind of trying to replace its parent contract, but still it is not fulfilled. So to make it more contracts based, or to make it more restricted, we can use either any type checking, maybe in the TypeScript, or you can have a type checking here as well using other way. Another workaround is like we can have a type checking. So I have installed the prop types. I'll just import it. You can use flow.js, you can use TypeScript if you have for the type restricting, for type checking as here as a part of user. So I'll say user prop types dot save and something like this. Okay, so at least those errors are gone now, and we'll go to the admin user section, and these things are basically, so if I'll make changes here as an object, it should start complaining about it. Okay, so we're good now.